Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, this is a public hearing. Before I get started, I think Dawn would like to say a few things.
I do. I wanted to, before we have the first reading and the public hearing for the annual operating budget, wanted to inform the council that the full town assessment, along with the appeals, informal and formal, were completed by March 31st of 2022. The appeals resulted in an overall decrease of only $266, so there's no change to the property tax revenue that's in the proposed budget.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is a public hearing being held to solicit your comments and suggestions regarding the proposed fiscal year 2023 operating budget and the 5-year capital improvement plan. The proposed budget has been posted on the town's website since February 4th. A public input meeting followed by a town council budget workshop was held on February 22, and the budget ordinances were introduced at the March 8th town council meeting. The town council and town staff welcome your input regarding the budget. This is another opportunity for you to share your thoughts. The town council is currently scheduled to vote to consider adoption of the budget at tonight's meeting. The following guidelines will be followed this evening. If you wish to speak at this meeting, please sign your attendance sheet or raise your hand when the comment sections begin. For the record, please identify yourself by name and the Ocean View address before making your comments for the public record. We ask that you limit your remarks to no more than 3 minutes. If a previous speaker has already covered the budget subject you wish to address and you have nothing to add, I ask that you refrain from speaking or simply confirm that you agree or disagree. Please remember that this is a public hearing to discuss the fiscal year 2023 budget, and comments should be focused on that topic only. Following this meeting, the council will be provided with a synopsis of the comments made during the public hearing. Thank you in advance for your participation. So the first item of business is the first reading and possible adoption of an ordinance establishing the annual operating budget for fiscal year April 30, 2023. Dawn, are you going to lead the discussion or?
We just,
No discussion, I think.
Just a brief summary is all really is required.
Can you give a brief summary?
I can. The fiscal year 2023 budget has budgeted revenues available for operations of $6,013,265. The operating expenditures for the departments are $5,522,870, with our capital improvements being $2,001,850. There is a balanced budget. We have no excess or deficit to or from reserves. The water system has a balanced budget with system operating revenues of $583,865, operating costs of $348,510, and debt service for our general obligation bonds of $235,355. Along with this, the council will be voting on setting the tax rate at 0.2378 per 100 of assessed value and granting a 1% discount on real property taxes paid on or before July 31st of 2022.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, is there any comment or question by town council before I open it up for public comment?
No.
No. Okay. I think you've all had an opportunity to go online or to pick up a copy of the budget at Town Hall. Are there any questions about the budget at this time from anyone in the audience?
No public comment, just general comment.
If not, is there any comment online? No. All right, at this point, I need a motion to adopt the ordinance establishing the annual operating budget for fiscal year April 30, 2023.
Motion to adopt the budget for the fiscal year 2023.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. The second item is the first reading and possible adoption of the ordinance establishing the revision of the capital expenditures budget for fiscal years ending April 30, 2023 to 27.
Okay, for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2023, our total appropriations for our capital improvement expenditures is $2,001,850. Do you want me to break down by department or by funding?
No, why don't you just break it down by expenditures and revenues and,
Well, okay, so for the funding, the general fund this year is funding as PAYGO $490,415. Capital replacement fund is $131,335. We have funded grants of $30,000. Street repair and replacement will be funding $1,340,100, and the Indian River School District is contributing $10,000 towards one of the projects.
That should be it.
that's it, that's good. Are there any comments from the town council before I open it up for public comment?
No.
If not, it's now open for public comment on the ordinance establishing the revision of the capital expenditure budget. Any questions? Anything online? No. If not, I need a motion to adopt the ordinance establishing the revision of the capital expenditure budget for fiscal years ending April 30, 2023 to 2027.
Motion to adopt the ordinance establishing a revision of the capital expenditure budget for fiscal years ending April 30th, 2023 through 2027.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. All right, moving forward, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 8, 2022.
Motion to approve the regular minutes from March 8th, 2022.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. I need a motion to approve the executive minutes from March 8, 2022.
Motion to approve the executive minutes from March 8, 2022.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. And lastly, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the workshop of March 2, 2022.
Approve the minutes from the workshop from March 2nd, 2022.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. Thank you. All right, we're going to move a little bit. The fire department had to go out on a call, so we're going to move to the reports. If I could ask Dawn to give the financial report.
Sure, thank you. Before you have the monthly financial report as of March 31st of 2022. As of that date, we had collected 99.8% of our current year taxes. We had 3 accounts left with current year taxes due. As of yesterday, we now only have 2 unpaid, with one of them being going to sheriff's sale through the county. On to our reserve and committed funds. Our emergency reserve trust fund has a balance of $972,136 and is fully funded to the FY 2022 budget. Our capital replacement trust fund has a balance of $1,050,600. The street repair and replacement trust has a balance of $4,650,582. The American Rescue Plan Act Fund has a balance of $591,216. Our emergency services enhancement funding, based on the end of March, had 19 new home construction permits that were issued and has a balance of $1,055,723. Moving on to our transfer taxes. Of course, transfer taxes, these are collected through February 28th, and were 33.6% from new construction home sales, 0.8% from land sales, and 64.4% from resales of existing homes. That turns out to be 57 new construction sales, 143 resales of existing homes, and 8 land sales. We did today get our March transfer tax information. For March, transfer taxes collected were $141,865. I wanted to go into a little bit with the municipal water system. On March 11th, the Middlesex Water Company supplied us with a list of 18 properties that were at least 2 billings in arrears. Calls were made, letters were sent to the property owners, and on April 5th, water was turned off on 2 properties. At the point of this report, there were now 4 properties that have been disconnected, but on Friday, 1 property came in, paid, and has been reconnected. So we have 3 properties right now that are all vacant and disconnected for non-payment. On pages 3 and 4, followed by the analytics on 5 and 6, you'll find our financial statement recap. As always, if you have questions concerning any of the numbers on the recap, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you. Any questions for Dawn?
Just one on the transfer taxes.
Yes.
When I saw the February 55,000, I was really nervous about that, so I'm happy to hear about March lifting up.
I think February decreased. We had that big snow. It was unusually cold. I think it just, and now we're, March made up for it. So.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to public safety report, Chief.
Yes, the public safety report, March, I'll start off with 5 responses that were recorded in the town of Millville. There's 175 hours of service that was provided by the volunteer unit. You see a little increase in the monthly training. This is the time of the year in the spring and fall when we kind of condense a lot of training in preparation for the upcoming summer. So this month and next month, you could see an increase in training. Our community policing initiatives, senior check-in, house checks have been very busy. Business checks have picked up, as has preparation for the upcoming Special Olympics, law enforcement torch run, and the summer games. Miscellaneous items, staff presented a child safety program, members of the Lord Baltimore School PTO, staff met with representatives of the South Dakota School Village Volunteers. We're working with that organization to try to provide additional services to the seniors that are currently enrolled in the Ocean View Police Senior Checking Program. So we found that I think we're going to be able to team up with the South Dakota Volunteers and provide provide even more services to our seniors, especially those that live alone in Ocean View. And that number continues to grow. We supported the Milton Police Department with their St. Patty's Day Parade. Staff attended the Attack Addiction meeting, it's a monthly meeting that takes place up in Georgetown. We're getting more involved with that organization again as the need continues to grow in our community. The drug problem is making a comeback again in our community. We're seeing more overdoses and we're seeing more requests for services to do substance abuse treatment. So we're partnering with Attack Addiction to help provide those services to members of our community that suffer from substance abuse. Staff assisted the Millville Volunteer Fire Company with an emergency operations planning and training event that we hosted at the Ocean View Police Department. As you know, Station 1 of the fire company is under construction, and they're not able to hold some of their training there at the firehouse. Proud to state again, we talked about this last month, but OVPD was awarded full accreditation by the Delaware Police Accreditation Commission on March 15th. That was a big accomplishment for our team. Captain Hugh Paul led those efforts. As a result of his work, we've nominated him as our officer for the year, and he should receive an award on May 6th at the 2022 Joshua M. Freeman Battle Awards. The accreditation certificate is on the back table if anybody is interested in taking a look at it. Sergeant Carter worked with state officials to reconfigure both the town and the police department's computer network to guard against malicious cyber threats. Staff completed routine maintenance of speed, radar signs. Staff, Primary Sergeant Carter participated and assisted with planning, zoning, and board of adjustment meetings with video live streaming and recording. We completed upgrades to the building's security access system. Staff participated in the subsequent hazard mitigation update and planning for the upcoming Chamber of Commerce Bay Beach bike event that will come through Ocean View, and that's scheduled for March 8th. There'll be more to come on that. That does impact the community for a couple hours that morning. And staff facilitated the public Narcan training event in conjunction with the State Department. A copy of our statistics for the month are also included in the report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions the council has.
Chief, I have one question as it relates to the Attack Addiction meeting. You said that drug addiction is on the increase. Do we see that in Ocean View? Or is it passed through? Is it residents, or is it a combination?
Combination. So we've got a lot of people suffering right now, and a lot of illicit drugs coming in. We're starting to see a big uptick in the synthetic marijuana, methamphetamines, counterfeit pills, counterfeit OxyContin pills and oxycodone pills. The DEA is telling us that 4 out of 10 pills contains a fatal dose of fentanyl, and that's a big reason we're starting to see countywide and statewide an uptick in our overdose deaths. We broke records in Delaware last year, and I anticipate we're going to shatter those records again this year, just due to the influx of these counterfeit pills. We are working hard to combat that.
In connection with that, is there some way we can get the price of Narcan down and make it more easily accessible?
Mr. White, we will provide it to members of our community at no cost. We are the only agency in the area that is authorized to provide the training and the Narcan, and we do host public Narcan training events in conjunction with the State Department of Health. So if anybody is interested, they would like receive Narcan or training, they just reach out to the police department and we will schedule for the next training class.
Well, great, thank you. Thank you.
I have a question also, Chief, regarding the Narcan. Now, my Narcan, I think it's expired or it was close to expiration. Do you have current ones on?
Yes, you just stop in and see myself or Sergeant Carter, and we will give you, we'll swap that out with a good unit.
Thank you, because I always carry them in my car. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Moving on to planning, zoning, and development. Mrs. Seminole.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our ADA sidewalk improvements in Savannah's Landing continue. We anticipate this project will be completed mid-May. To date, we've done 91 of the total 190 locations. They've been completed. Our current budget projection indicates that we can do 27 additional driveways under this contract before we run out of money, meaning that we'll be left with 72 driveways to be completed this fiscal year in the next contract. When we came to Mayor and Council and asked for additional funding, it turned out to be a wise decision by you folks. We started out with the estimated cost to do 24 driveways at about $5,000 per driveway. Now, with the number that we've done, that number has come down, and it ended up being about $3,500 per location. So we got a lot of work done for it. We got a lot of bang for the buck. Construction activity is going to commence in Avon Park, along Avon Park Boulevard, to repair an existing corrugated metal pipe that's under the roadway. Our maintenance manager, Jared Steele, and I encountered this problem in 2020. We cut the road open and excavated and took a look at it, and what we found was a metal band that connected the 2 sections of pipe together had deteriorated, rusted, and broke apart. So we made a temporary repair, filled the hole back in, and put some cold patch in the hole. In addition to that, we had to run a pipe video to see if there were any other problems. If this was something that we're going to be encountering, it would turn into a big project, and it has not. So we're scheduled to have our municipal maintenance contractor, George and Lynch, do this work sometime before the end of the budget season. Capital improvement projects, West Avenue Streetscape project continues. The sidewalk construction is about 90% complete. Roadway restoration is underway. Paving activities were anticipated to start this week, but we lost an entire week last week to rain, so we'll be paving most likely Monday next week. Country Village Country Estates Drainage Improvement Project has been advertised for bid. Bids will be open on May the 4th. We anticipate start date for this project be sometime in September. Land use and development. Town staff has been engaged in discussions with Dan Ryan Builders regarding a 27.85 plus or minus acre parcel of land located on Woodland Avenue across from Mitchell Avenue that is being developed as a residential community. PRB is requesting that the parcel of land be annexed into town, and there are representatives from DRB in the audience tonight. Traffic and safety. The first data collection period of 2022 for the speed study of Ogre Drive was completed between March 3rd, 2022 and March 11th, 2022. The 50 percentile speed in both directions on this road was 15.6 miles per hour. The 85th percentile speed was 19.8 miles per hour. Overall, 78.7% of all vehicles using Ogre Drive during this period were observed traveling between 11 and 20 miles per hour. This is consistent with the findings of our earlier speed study and with the data the Chief presented last month. I have a code enforcement data, permits and COs, and business license information there for you. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions of Mr. Semino?
No.
Thank you. Moving on to the town manager's report.
Yes, thank you. The construction of our bocce ball courts are underway, right out back here. If you have a chance to take a look, it's quite a project. The courts will serve as the home courts, if you haven't heard this before, for Special Olympics Delaware, so we're excited about hosting some tournaments in the near future. Our Blue Star Memorial is moving along quite well. Right now, we have the last week in May scheduled for when we will do the unveiling. The exact date, I think, is going to be the 23rd, but probably in the next few days, we'll have that confirmed. The memorial site will be a bright spot along Ocean View's mile of Atlantic Avenue for the community to enjoy, as well as a tribute to the members who serve from our community and visitors who served in the armed forces. This project is a good example of a partnership effort that the town has been working on. We have in-kind support for this project from the Salt Air Gardeners, who did fundraising and will be taking care of all the plantings going forward. George and Lynch is volunteering the clearing, the grading, cement walkways, and the flagpole installation. The VFW in Ocean View provided funding support to the Salt Air Gardeners for the plantings. Delmarva Power will be putting electric in at free of cost, not for the electric, but for the wiring. Apple Electric will be putting in the pedestal. Collins Landscaping is supporting us by putting in the mulch. Mayor Reddington is supporting the purchase of a bench at the site. And the town of Ocean View, and of course, all the members of Mayor and Council have provided the support for the purchase of the flag, allowing us to work on the project and work with DelDOT to get the location secured for the effort. So we're looking forward to this happening really quickly, and it's been a truly team effort to bring this to our town. Full town reassessment, won't go into that. Dawn already told you the outcome, but I can share that the process was extremely smooth, and I'd like to commend our town finance employees as well as Pearson's Appraisals for handling the 5-year update with great professionalism and efficiency. I'm going to skip over a couple things. Just wanted to point out that in 2024, Town of Ocean View will be 135 years, and we're beginning to consider ways that we might be able to celebrate that throughout the year in time for budgeting purposes next year. West Avenue, you've all got here, so you've all seen that we have a lot of construction going on. The area across the street will also be a parking facility, additional parking for this building as well as John West Park. We also are using the site currently as a laydown area for the West Avenue work that's going on. Arbor Day celebration, move on to that, will be held Friday, the 29th of April, 3:30 right here in the park. So we invite everybody to join us. We just purchased a tree today that will be planted. And then we also have the Public Works report here from March. You all can ask any questions about that. But I also like to share that at the last council meeting, concerns were raised by a resident that they had difficulty hearing while they were here in the meeting, and we are working on a solution. We think we have that solution. It likely will be an in-room connection to the feed with a headphone. So by next meeting, we'll be ready to really confirm the availability of that. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions of the town manager?
Yeah, I have one comment. I was happy to see the brand new sign on Coastal Highway in Bethany for the Ocean View Historic District.
Yes.
Will we be getting more signs on Up here, close to
Yes.
West Avenue, or what?
We're waiting for the signs to come in that will go on Atlantic Avenue, and they'll turn people down this way in each direction.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have the Millville Volunteer Fire Department activity report, and they gave us the activity report for 6 years, going back to 2016. And what we can see in terms of Ocean View is that the number of calls made to Ocean View has increased markedly over time. 407 calls in 2021 compared to 384 calls last year in 2020. All the way back to 2016, we're at 360. Any comments about that? No? Okay, we're going to move back to communications and presentations.
And if you want to put the recommendation, move that up right after that, you can.
Okay.
That would be 8B.
And
Yes, yeah, I believe so. We have representatives from Millville Volunteer Fire. Would you like to come up and make a statement in relationship to the grant at this time? Anybody? Mayor and Council, you've had the grant application. And maybe tell us a little bit about the piece of equipment that's parked outside.
I will. My name is Guy Rickards. I'm the fire chief of Millville Fire Department, and we came tonight, first of all, to thank you for the grants that we've received over the past few years, and we came tonight, first of all, to thank you for the grant we received last year. With the supply chain issues, we just actually have gotten the boat about a month ago, and then we had to send it back for some service work. And we just got some fire gear. That's what you guys gave us funding for last year. The boat is outside. We brought it down so you can see it. And I brought a set of fire gear in with me. This stuff cost about $3,000 a set in that neighborhood. And we upgraded our gear a little bit when we bought this new gear. It's lighter compared to what we had been wearing, and also they keep improving fire gear. They tell us that the thermal protections should be better and the vapor barrier should be better. The boat outside is going to be a good addition. We had a boat call one day last week in the wind and the rain, and we have a very small boat is what we have been using, and it works fine for Whites Creek and if it's a nice day. But when we got this call last week, it was rough. The call was in the middle of the bay. It was supposed to be a boat in distress. It actually wasn't in distress. And we didn't even launch our boat. It was rough enough, we didn't launch it. We don't have the new boat in service yet because we're trying to get some people trained on it. And it should be in service hopefully sometime around the middle of summer. And then we'll be getting rid of the smaller boat that we have. As far as the grant this year, we put in for some rescue tools. And that's just to upgrade. We're switching from hydraulic to battery-operated electric tools. And some of the rescue tools we have now are about 20 years old. And it's just an upgrade of tools. And then the second part of the grant is to redo our gas island or our fuel station at the fire station. The pumps are very old, and it's to put in a couple new fuel pumps and redo the island at the fire station. Is there any questions about anything? Yes.
When we get our first ride in the boat?
As soon as the fish are biting. No, I'm kidding. As soon as we get it in service, if you would like to come take a look at it, we're going to be doing some training on it. And so if anybody would like to come out and see what it can do, we can certainly notify you when we're doing some training, and you guys can come take a look at it.
Are you going to sell the other boat? Are you going to sell that? Or?
We are going to sell it. What I would like to do, it has to be approved by the fire company, but what I would like to do is sell it to another emergency services organization. I had heard one of the other fire departments in Delaware is interested in it. Frederica up on the Murder Kill River. I think they're interested in it. If they would like to buy it, I would like for it to go to another emergency services organization. If not, we'll just probably sell it, on, some type of auction or something.
Well, I, for one, really think that we're spending our money wisely in supporting the volunteer fire department. And I'm sure all my fellow councilmen and the town manager also feel the same way, that it's money well spent and we enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Well, we certainly appreciate it. I got the president with me and the vice president. I don't know if they want to come up and say something. There's a lot going on at the fire station. There's an addition going on up there. And we just are short on some office space. More importantly, we're short on places for our career staff they basically live at the fire station for 24 hours when they're working. So they need a decent bunk room and decent facilities because they have to cook there and eat there. And so the addition is an upgrade to that. And also we've added some live-in rooms. And volunteerism, not only in Millville, but the whole state and the whole country, volunteer fire department, the volunteerism is headed downhill. There's not as many people available, not as many people volunteering. Bethany does a live-in program. That's the closest one that you guys can be familiar with. There's other stations that do it. And we actually, at our second station on Omar Road, we have a couple dorm rooms up there. We actually got somebody this winter from Frankfurt who moved in there. He spends 3 or 4 nights a week there. We sort of give them a place to live, and they ride the fire trucks for us. So with the new station, we're hoping to attract some people that'll live in the station and supplement our staff, and especially in the summertime.
I also have another question. This is relative to the name recognition, and I'm sure Millville enjoys their name recognition, but we recently had a councilman come on council. He's no longer on council. He only did 1 term. And he asked me, he says, why are we giving money to Millville? Don't they get money from the town? And I said, Millville Fire Company is a separate entity, but in and of itself, they're not paid by the town of Millville as an employee. Now, with that said, have you ever thought of changing the name to incorporate other coastal towns, like we have a coastal town museum, and to reflect some of the monies that other people have donated to the fire company?
I haven't really thought about it. I don't know if any of those guys have. I don't know if I completely understood your question or not, but just as far as the funding, we receive funding from lots of places. We receive funding from the state, we receive funding from the town of Millville, we receive funding from you guys. We receive quite a bit of money from ambulance billing, which that's insurance companies, fund drives, and I'm sure I'm missing some other things.
Sure.
And just to let you know how quickly that money goes, we have 16 full-time employees, and I think our payroll was somewhere around $1.5 million each year, and that includes, benefits and that type of thing, which are very expensive. And the last ambulance we bought was around $400,000. A fire truck now, just an engine, cost about $750,000. So as soon as you say fire department, the price goes up, on that emergency services equipment. So it takes money from everywhere.
Thank you for answering.
Okay, you guys, you want to say anything? Okay.
Any further questions? Before you leave,
Yeah, we're not leaving, I'm just.
I know, but
stepping back.
before you sit down, we are going to have later on in the meeting an ordinance to look at approving the grant that you just requested. But at this time, we'd like to present a check to you from the town of Ocean View that we have received the funding through the American Rescue Funds for $100,000. So if you want to come up, we
Okay.
have.
Well, we thank you very much for that.
Take a picture.
Sure. Yeah.
And this is for your building fund. I just made it over there. Mayor, Council, anybody else want to come down?
Yeah.
This is the real one. So I want to present you a check for $100,000 on behalf of the town of Ocean.
Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much.
We really appreciate it.
On behalf of the Millville Fire Company, we greatly appreciate this. As was stated before, this is going to go 100% to our building. Like the chief had said earlier, this building is about 15 years too late, to be honest with you. We've upgraded our facility majorly. Before we had one shower in our whole entire facility that was located in our engine bay. We do have males that work there, also volunteer. We do have females that work there and do volunteer. So we are upgrading that. We will have separate bathrooms, separate shower facilities, and so on. Another thing that I want to let you guys know is one of our main corridors in our new section will be named after the town of Ocean View for this generous donation. We greatly appreciate it. We can't do it without you guys. We can't do it without the towns. We can't do it without the citizens of our district. We are a volunteer service, but we are also a combination. All of our EMS now is pretty much run by paid staff, and we really depend on them as well. We greatly appreciate everything. We are always here for you guys, just like you guys have always been there for us. And I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart on behalf of the Millville Volunteer Fire Company. Thank you. Any questions for me? Does anybody have any questions for me? If not, I got out of this easy. I thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item of business, the annexation request from DRB Group.
Thank you, everybody. My name is John Severa. I am the division president for DRB Group, Eastern Shore LLC. Thank you for having me tonight. I've engaged with Carol and Ken and Jill, let's see, back in the beginning of March 11th, and we have purchased the Browning Farm on Woodland Avenue, and we have requested for annexation and a rezone into the town of Ocean View. For many reasons. One of the reasons on the top of the list is what you just did previously with the fire department. We believe that the town provides great things to the area, not just to Ocean View, but it has a great reputation for people moving into the area, people coming out of state. They know the town of Ocean View. It's a safe place. It is a clean place. It is a location that people want to flock to. So we believe from the DRB Group that having Ocean View be a part of our community will make it very, very marketable. And to a clientele that all of those things that I just described are important to them. Safety, cleanliness, and a good reputation. Would you like me to read my letter of annexation request?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Sure.
Just to be formal, I guess, but DRB Group Eastern Shore LLC would like to petition for annexation of the above described tax ID numbers 134-12.00-470.00 or 142 Woodland Avenue, Ocean View, Delaware 19970 for residential construction. The request is for 29.75 acres of a continuous parcel per the attached survey. The annexation request is in conjunction with a request for a rezone from AR1 to R3. As mentioned, DRB Group would like to be a part of the town due to its tremendous reputation for safety, cleanliness, and beauty. DRB believes this residential community will have tremendous marketability being tied to the town of Ocean View and believes the town will support its efforts to complete a successful neighborhood for residents for years to come. We ask for your consideration on the request and look forward to the next steps.
Well, thank you. We will have an ordinance later on in the meeting, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more questions then, but are there any questions at this time before we move on? No. Okay. You're still going to be here, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Is there any further business before we open up to citizens' privilege? If not, citizens' privilege on the items on the pre-published agenda listed for discussion and consideration or items subsequently added at any time to the pre-published agenda for discussion and consideration. If someone chooses to speak at the first citizens' privilege, he or she may not speak on the same subject at the second citizens' privilege. Is there anyone that would like to step forward and ask a question, make a comment? Anyone online? No? Okay, thank you. Moving on to new business.
Well, Mr. President, we have an ordinance to introduce. Mr. Mayor, excuse me. And it is an ordinance entitled, an ordinance annexing into the town limits of the town of Ocean View of 27.852 acres, more or less, being the lands of DRB Group Eastern Shore LLC, which is the property located in Woodland that the gentleman Mr. Chavera just referenced. All we need is for this to be introduced, but I do want to point out it is rare for us to have an annexation in excess of 5 acres. So it's a little different than the normal process. However, it will be referred to the Planning and Zoning Commission to generate a report on the benefits and detriments of annexation. There will be publications of the public hearing that will be handled through that. There will also be reference to the Office of State Planning Coordination and some references to the availability of facilities to handle the project. Assuming for just a moment that this receives a favorable vote from the, I said boat, I'm thinking about the bass boat out back. So the vote of the town council, if after a period of 31 days, there is no petition for an annexation referendum, then it becomes a completed annexation and the matter goes forward with you all being in town. If more than 33 1/3% of the qualified voters of the town petition for an annexation referendum, then it will go to a referendum. I will tell you that I may be the only person left in the room that's been around during one of those. And the last one was a tie. It requires an affirmative vote of a majority, and a tie does not do that. So if we go to a referendum, everybody work hard to make sure we don't have a tie. What we need is somebody to introduce it so it can be referred to planning and zoning.
Mr. Schrader?
Yes.
Want me to introduce it?
Sure.
Mr. Schrader, I want to introduce an ordinance annexing into the town limits of the town of Ocean View of 27.852 acres, more or less, being the lands of DRB Group Eastern Shore LLC.
Mr. Chavera, I noticed that you have some of your technical or professional staff with you. Do they need to present something to us, or are you satisfied with the way things have gone this evening?
I'm satisfied with the way things have gone this evening.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Moving on. Discussion, consideration, and possible voting on the annual grant request from the Emergency Services Enhancement Fund for the Millville Volunteer Fire Department.
Yes, Mayor and Council, as you know, the Town of Ocean View provides grant funding, which has been discussed earlier tonight, to the Millville Volunteer Fire Company from revenue collected for permits and from development projects. These funds make up our Emergency Services Enhancement Funding, which was implemented by the Town of Ocean View in 2008. If this grant is, that's been requested is approved for $80,000, that's the typical annual amount that the Town of Ocean View has decided that it would give each year to the Millville Volunteer Fire. If that is approved, it would bring the figure of all the funding the town has provided Millville Fire to I'm sorry, I think I have a typo there, but $1,135,000. So again, why they're so happy about the support, and we're happy to be able to give it. If mayor and council wish to assist in fully funding the cost of the needs that have been presented for FY '22, there's an additional $7,812. The Emergency Services Fund could support that level of funding, or we could divert that amount to our ARPA funds. And I have received information from the legal fund, Barnes and Thornburg, who we're participating with for the ARPA funds, and they have advised us that this use qualifies. So if you want to add the $7,812 to the grant, you can, and you have two different options to choose. I've also provided some other information regarding the funding that the Millville Volunteer Fire Company gets from the various sources. And we would ask that going forward, if you can just give that to us each year, like update that each year, and that's the governmental support information that you provided. Ambulance pass-through funding information was also shared, as well as the activity reports for the year. It's therefore recommended that mayor and council support this annual grant request from the Millville Volunteer Fire Company at its planned level of $80,000, with a strong consideration for full support and funding of the two submitted projects to the level of $87,812.65. And I would recommend you use your contingency fundings from the ARPA monies for this additional $7,812.65.
Thank you. I think that recommendation is sound, in that it ensures that the $80,000 that we have set aside every year into the ESEF fund will be there, and that taking this $7,812 out of that would reduce the amount of money in the out year. So therefore, using the ARP funds to enhance the request, I think, is worthwhile. Any comments?
I agree.
Yeah, that $7,000 could be used in the future.
Yeah. All right, if that's the case, I need a motion to accept the proposal.
Motion to accept the proposal laid out by the town manager to use ARPA funds.
For just the 7,000.
Yes, for
But
just the
also,
7,000.
we also need to approve the 80,000
total.
the full amount.
So would you like to pre-word that? But one may suggest something?
We approve the 80,000, and then from the ARPA funds, we'll take the $7,812.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion, consideration, and possible voting on a recommendation to purchase a truck-mounted mosquito sprayer for the Public Works Department.
Not as exciting, but this is a recommendation to purchase a mounted mosquito sprayer. As you're aware, the town of Ocean View provides mosquito spraying from spring to fall on Tuesday and Friday mornings between the hours of 2:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. The town owns 2 truck-mounted spraying systems. Both of our Public Works employees are certified by the state of Delaware to perform this service. The planned replacement of one truck-mounted unit is now required in association with its age and parts availability. The Clark Mosquito Control Company has a representative that's located in Virginia that has supported the town's program for many years, including product and equipment sales and the provision of parts, training, and unit repairs. The representative visits our maintenance facility at least once a year to calibrate and certify our equipment to state standards, as well as to help diagnose performance issues. Funds are available for the replacement of this truck-mounted unit from the FY23 Capital Improvement Program, which you just approved. Of course, it does not go into effect until May 1. It is, however, recommended that Mayor and Council authorize the issuance of a purchase order to Clark Mosquito following the approval, which you've already done, of the Capital Improvement Program in advance to May 1, 2022, to facilitate receipt of the new unit in relationship with delivery delays being experienced.
Any questions?
No.
If not, then I need a proposal to authorize the issuance of a purchase order to Clark Mosquito following approval of the 2023 Capital Improvement Program to facilitate the receipt of a new unit in relationship with delivery delays being experienced.
I move that we authorize a purchase order to Clark Mosquito as detailed in the recommendation.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. 5-0.
Thank you.
Discussion, consideration, and possible voting on a recommendation to purchase signs and landscaping services for the parking lot at 33 West Avenue using ARPA funds.
Yes, Mayor and Council, as you're aware, the town purchased the property across the street, 33 West, to develop it as a parking facility. The paving of the parking facility will be completed along with our planned West Avenue Street rehabilitation project that's underway. The town of Ocean View currently has contingency fund balance available from the planned and approved usage of the American Rescue Fund Act. I'm proposing that two new uses for the ARPA funds tonight, including the following. The first was the support to Millville Volunteer Fire, which has already taken place, addressed earlier. And the second would be to support 33 West Ave parking lot project with this recommendation. The total cost is $28,630. The two items for the parking lot would be signage that's required and also landscaping. AdArt Sign Company is our existing sign company who's done all of our signs on our buildings as well as out in town. And Collins Lawn Care is our lawn care provider, landscape outsourced company. The sign would be two signs, one for each, the exit and entrance would be $830, and the landscaping would be $27,800. I will tell you that after this was written, we do know that we will have to avoid a bioswale on the Osprey Road side of the parking lot, and this 27.8 figure will go down as a result. There'll be a little bit less landscaping. It's therefore recommended that Mayor and Council authorize the use of $28,630 of ARPA funds towards the completion of the 33 West parking lot project for signage and landscaping.
Any questions? If not, then I need a proposal to authorize the use of $28,630 of ARP funds for signage and landscaping at 33 West Avenue parking lot project.
I recommend that we make a proposal to authorize the use of $28,630 of ARPA funds towards the completion of the 33 West Avenue parking lot project. And that includes the Art Sign Company signage and Collins Landscaping, lawn care.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Thank you. Discussion, consideration, and possible voting on a recommendation to construct a parking facility at 33 West Avenue. Mr. Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the town manager said, the property across the street at 33 West Avenue was purchased last fall. The intention of building a parking facility to be used for events. and normal usage here at John West Park. The construction of this parking facility falls within the project limits of the West Avenue Streetscape project and is in kind, meaning many of the items that are needed to construct this parking lot are already included in the West Avenue Streetscape project. The town engineer, the Kircher Group, has developed plans and a preliminary cost estimate for the parking facility utilizing those existing unit prices that I just mentioned. The preliminary cost estimate was performed by Mike Bianco, project manager with the Kircher Group, incorporated to attach for your review. Funding is budgeted and currently available for this additional work in the FY 2022 Capital Improvement Program, West Avenue Streetscape, in the amount of $173,184. It is therefore recommended that Mayor and Council authorize the town manager to add this additional work to project OVPZ&D 2209 West Avenue Streetscape. The estimated total dollar value is $146,000.
Any questions? If not, then I need a proposal to approve, to authorize the town manager to add this additional work to project number OVPZ indeed 22-09 West Avenue Streetscapes at the cost of $146,000.
Motion to authorize the town manager to add this additional project work to project number OVPZ ND 22-09 West Avenue Streetscape, and the total cost would be $146,000.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Discussion, consideration, and possible voting on dedication of Smithfield roads. Mr. Zimmerman.
Yeah, the background on this community, the Smithfield community, was completed on March 28, 2017. At that time, there were 2 undeveloped parcels on Smithfield Court, and the previous town manager and director did not accept the road for maintenance. The road was inspected by the town engineer on October 7, 2021, and found to be in acceptable condition. It's worth noting that this roadway in this community does not have any sidewalks. It is recommended the mayor and council accept the improvements identified in the deed of dedication for maintenance.
Any questions? If not, then I need a proposal, motion to accept the improvements identified in the deed of dedication for maintenance.
Motion to accept the improvements identified in the deed of dedication for maintenance.
Second. Do I hear a second? All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Discussion, consideration, and possible voting on Arbor Day dedication. Town manager?
Yes, Mayor and Council, the Arbor Day Foundation does ask us to do a proclamation each year, and as you know, we are planning to have a program on the 29th of this month. I'd just like support from Mayor and Council, and then signature of the mayor for the proclamation. I can read it if you wanted me to, or...
Can you please read it?
Sure, I can read it. Whereas J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of trees of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And Whereas trees in the town of Ocean View increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, John J. Reddington, Mayor of the town of Ocean View, do hereby proclaim April 29, 2022 as Arbor Day in the town of Ocean View, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and recognize the importance of trees in our life.
Thank you. And where is this going to take place?
Well, our Arbor Day celebration will be right here in the park. We're planting a tree for one that died right adjacent to the building, and that will be at 3:30 on the 29th.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
Then I need a proposal to accept the Arbor Day dedication proclamation.
Proposal to accept the Arbor Day proclamation.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We didn't need that, did we? I didn't think so. But it's good.
Leave that for later. That's for
Yeah.
later.
All right, discussion, consideration, and possible voting on recommendation to purchase mobile radios for the police department using ARPA funds from the state of Delaware, awarded contract number GSS 15676- ComEquip V PV 04.
It's a long one. Yeah, that's a long one. So, Mayor and Council, we've been advised that effective January of 2024, certain radios now in use by the Ocean View Police Department will no longer be in compliance with the state of Delaware's communication system. The Ocean View Police Department radios impacted include 8 mobile in-vehicle radios and 6 portable radios and their accessories. Last week, we inquired about the costs associated with the replacement of the above-noted radios and were advised of a price increase effective May of 2022. For that reason, we're hoping to place the order for the replacement of these 14 radios in advance to the price increase. The current state of Delaware contract pricing from Magnum Electronics totals $82,850.14. Funds are available from the balance of the Town of Ocean View ARPA funds in accordance with the log that I've been creating, Mayor and Council. You've been seeing this, keeping track of the funds from the ARPA funds that we are utilizing. This has also been approved by Barnes and Thornburg as a appropriate expense for the funds. Therefore, the final balance of our ARPA contingency funds, if this were to be approved, will be $91,832.35 as of today, April 12th. It's therefore recommended that Mayor and Council authorize the town manager to purchase 14 radios as noted above from Magnum Electronics, the state of Delaware contract vendor and pricing, for a total amount of $82,850 using the American Rescue Plan Act funds that the town is receiving.
Any questions? If not, then I need a motion to purchase 14 mobile radios for the police department from Magnum Electronics for the total amount of $82,850 utilizing Town of Ocean View American Rescue Plan funds.
Motion to authorize the purchase of 14 radios as noted above from Magnum Electronics with the pricing, contract pricing for the total amount of $82,850 utilizing Town of Ocean View American Rescue Plan Act funds.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Before I open it up to citizens' privilege, I just want to mention that we have 2 members of the town council that this is their last meeting. And we thank them for the dedication they've given us to the town, for attending every meeting, for making really excellent participation and comments. And I think on the 26th of this month, we have an organizational meeting in which we will honor you with the usual plaque. Any last words before
Nothing special.
have your last meeting?
Typical, what is typical?
Whatever's gone before.
It usually comes in a glass bottle.
How about a Hawaiian vacation?
Well,
I got a cruise.
that's not in the American Rescue Funds.
That won't be approved.
Why don't you get a ride on the Millville boat?
I got a cruise in the boat.
Yeah. I think the fire department will give a cruise to these two guys. Anyways, thank you very much for your dedication, and at this time, I'd like to open it up to citizens' privilege. Same comments as before. You can comment on anything that has been in the program up to this point. Yes, Mr. Carr.
Steve Cobb, 15 West Avenue. Mr. Mayor, as you just alluded to, in just 2 weeks, the town will be holding an organizational meeting, which by town charter will seat 2 new council persons. Council-elect Colleen Twarczek and myself will fill the seats by the 2 outgoing council members. As a private citizen of Ocean View over the past 25 years, I think it is important for you as the mayor and the other serving council members and all the staff and employees of Ocean View, how much that we appreciate and admire the leadership that has been directing this town. As the country struggles to regain its feet and emerge from a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, the town of Ocean View has been and still remains strong. From Chief McLaughlin and his now newly accredited police department and all his officers, for keeping the citizens of this town safe and secure. To Ms. Haupt, the town manager, with her vision, with her staff expanding services and basing decisions on improving the quality of life for all the residents of Ocean View. To Mr. Simoneau, for constructively improving the infrastructure and yet still allowing the town to grow in a well-thought-out plan and creating an atmosphere where small-town businesses can still flourish. To Ms. Parks, who without her distributing and receiving the funds and providing practical, logical, transparent financial statements, none of this would be possible. Councilman Twarczek, Councilman White have been serving during this time and have contributed to the vibrance of this town and community. From where I stand, Mr. Mayor, these gentlemen have served this town and the employees of this town and the citizens of this town with great honor, integrity, morality, and transparency. They will be missed. But I think I can speak for Councilwoman-elect Twarczek that our hope is to continue in their footsteps in the same fashion. To all the employees in the town of Ocean View, to the mayor, and to the council, a heartfelt thank you. To Bruce White, Frank Twarczek, I offer you just 3 words: job well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well said. Any other questions, comments?
Will you give me the privilege of the floor for a moment, sir?
You may have it.
Thank you. I'd like to just note that recently the first town manager of the town of Ocean View, Joseph P. Lobb, passed away about 2 weeks ago. I think his funeral would have been 2 weeks from this coming Friday. Chief McLaughlin and I and some others had the opportunity to attend his funeral services and viewing at the Catholic Church here. Joe Lobb probably wasn't known by any of you except for Chief McLaughlin and me. He served the town well. He started out in a part-time capacity, worked himself up to a full-time capacity. And a lot of what you see that goes well in these towns had its genesis in Joseph P. Lobb. In addition to everything else, he was one hell of a quartet singer, loved Ireland, and he liked working for the town of Ocean View. And we miss you, Joe, and you are commended for your service to the town. That's all I got. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, then I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? So passes. Thank you very much for coming.